Let's take a look at the
President
Silk
Trump, on his
Road.
first day in office, kept his promise to
Sorry, let me restart. Let me do that too. What is the Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht is finally free.
Holy crap, the madman actually did it. President Trump, on his first day in office, kept his promise to pardon Ross Ulbricht, who has been serving a life sentence in federal prison for creating the Silk Road. Now, in case you didn't know,
The Silk Road is basically a black market drug purchasing site, basically.
the Silk Road was basically the OG hidden marketplace on
Yeah.
Tor. There were technically
On
other
Tor.
ones that came
Right.
before
Tor
it,
is basically the Wild West.
but the Silk Road had a lot of its success and gained a lot of notoriety for being the first hidden marketplace to use Bitcoin as the only form of payment.
Yeah.
Because Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency, and back in 2011 when the Silk Road was founded, there was virtually no KYC regulations or really any regulations at all around Bitcoin, because that project itself had just started a few years ago. Hardly anyone cared about it because a single Bitcoin is worth less than $1, but because of its open source and decentralized nature, Ross Ulbricht saw it as the perfect tool to combine with Tor's Onion service feature, which lets you host a website on the dark web anonymously. Donald Trump announced on Truth Social that he had
so Tor
just called the
basically
mother
dark
of
web.
Ross William Ulbricht
Right.
to let her know that in honor of her and the libertarian movement, which supported me so strongly, it was my pleasure to have just signed a full and unconditional pardon of her son, Ross. The scum that worked to convict him were some of the same lunatics who were involved in the modern-day weaponization of government against me. He was given 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Ridiculous. And I absolutely agree. Because in case you didn't know about the legend of the Silk Road, it started because Ross Ulbricht had what I guess you could call a libertarian vision of unstoppable, unregulatable online marketplaces. And his vision has largely succeeded, because even though he got the book thrown at him,
What Ross Ulbricht did was he basically made a marketplace, right? A bulletin board for people to post, right, and sell their products and shit.
with a
And they could use
lifetime prison
cryptocurrency to
sentence,
buy it.
that hasn't stopped others from creating these online black markets. There's easily been 100 more
there's a lot
that
of
have popped up over the years following the same fundamentals.
Exactly. Not only that, but even on social media sites, right? Like Twitter and all that, where you can like private message people. Yeah, you can. Right, in any way you can contact people, right? You can do some black market trading.
As the Silk Road, and of course making improvements along the way, like switching to Monero as the standard cryptocurrency and requiring the use of PGP whenever possible. And many of these markets have gone through successful life cycles where they opened up, they gained popularity over time, they gained a number of sellers and buyers that wanted to do business through their website and use their escrow service. And then after a few years, the administrators shut down the website, retiring as crypto millionaires on a yacht somewhere. And the success rates of these websites are getting higher and higher. Granted, there's still a lot of them that get seized, especially when the websites get really popular and the admins refuse to retire and just get too cocky and keep going and going. And when most admins actually do choose to quit on their own terms, they end up exit scamming, which is basically where they'll freeze all the crypto that's in their escrow service that the buyers and sellers were using. And sometimes they'll even try to milk people a little bit by telling them, hey, everything's fine, man. There's just a small problem with the withdrawal system, but everything else is working and I'm totally going to fix it. Just keep on
this is how you
depositing
get
your
fucking
crypto.
scammed with
And then, of
crypto,
course, the admins
too.
disappear with everything and they
People
shut the
using it
website
on the
down,
shit.
which is pretty scummy, and it hurts people's trust in these kinds of marketplaces, this little social experiment that Ross Ulbricht started. But at the end of the day, that's the risk that you're going to take with the dark web. And fortunately, there's forums now like Dread that stay pretty up to date with hidden marketplaces and dark web news. So
make mushrooms
when
great
those
again.
particular ones do start doing an exit scam, or they get hacked, or they get raided,
partners created
you're
for
gonna find out there
drug
pretty
marketplace
quickly.
announcement.
So yeah, the U.S. government basically realized after they caught Ross in a sting operation at a library and took the laptop that he was running the Silk Road from, that he had discovered something revolutionary. He demonstrated that Bitcoin was the perfect tool as a medium of exchange in a truly unregulated online marketplace. And without that demonstration, which Ross unfortunately spent 10 years of his life in prison for, Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto industry would not be what it is today. And make no mistake, because I see this come up all the time when people talk about Ross Ulbricht, especially when people say that he did nothing wrong. He did not get in trouble for trying to hire a hitman. He never even talked to a real hitman. There were no charges that were made against him if you look at his case. And if you look into what really happened with Ross trying to hire a hitman, he got led on this crazy ruse by a scammer or a group of scammers who played a number of different roles.
Oh yeah, the murder, the bizarre murder for hire stuff.
To be this middleman supplier that got ripped off by someone named Lucy Drop, who was actually selling LSD on the Silk Road. So Friendly Chemist said that he had fronted Lucy Drop some product that he didn't pay for, and he wanted Ross Ulbricht to make it right because now Friendly Chemist owed money to his suppliers.
Yeah.
And he also claimed to know the identities of a bunch of vendors on the Silk Road, and he threatened to release them if Ross, who went by the name Dread Pirate Roberts, didn't do something about the Lucy Drop situation and get him his money. Lucy Drop came back onto the Silk Road a little bit later under a new name called Real Lucy Drop, and he contacted Ross claiming to have been in prison and that his original Lucy Drop account that was scamming people, basically taking orders and then not really shipping them the product that they ordered, was stolen by his partner, and he didn't have any way to pay back Friendly Chemist. You know, his partner stole the account, stole all the money, and stole all the product. And during this conversation, Ross requested that Lucy Drop give him Friendly Chemist's real-life identity so that Ross could threaten him and have leverage against that blackmail threat that Friendly Chemist initially made against Ross. Now, as the conversation went on, Lucy Drop told Ross that Friendly Chemist was extremely frightened by the guys that he owed money to because they were the most powerful biker gang in Canada, and he was saying that if he didn't get the money to pay off his suppliers, that he would rather go to the police and get into the witness protection program and turn rat than to face the wrath of this Hell's Angels-esque biker gang that he owed money to. A few days after this conversation, a new character called Red and White appears, claiming to be a high-level member of this biker gang, and he contacted Ross on the Silk Road, claiming that he was the person that Friendly Chemist owed money to. Now, at first, this Red and White person played the angle to make it sound like they just wanted Ross to pay them the money directly, but after chatting for a bit, the Red and White person decided that they might just start selling on the Silk Road directly because they could do more than $1 million per week in sales, which would blow out the majority of the competition. You got to remember that selling drugs online was a very new thing at the time. There were only a handful of people doing it, and they certainly were not the big boss kingpins that had access to large quantities of supply for very cheap.
Yeah.
And they also claimed to have found Friendly Chemist partner named Zen, who had a lot of their product that they owed on him. So after Red and White took that product back and took care of Zen, he said that he felt even. Meanwhile, Friendly Chemist was still messaging Rob saying that he needed $500,000 to move his wife and kids away because this biker gang just unalived his friend Zinn. He believed that he was next, and if Ross didn't pay within 72 hours, then he was going to leak all this information that he had about vendors and buyers that were on the Silk Road and turn rat. So Ross asked Friendly Chemist for an extension to 96 hours, and in the meantime, he decided to contact this red and white guy that he had just met because surely a biker gang kingpin knows some hitmen.
This is so weird. I don't know why
perfectly. At first,
why he's getting involved in this
hesitant
shit.
At first, and even kind of saying it's stupid because he had already killed Zinn, and so now he didn't really care about going after Friendly Chemist. But then he admitted that, yeah, you know, I do have hitmen working for me because, of course, I'm the Hell Angels of Canada. And he could take care of the problem for about $150,000. So Ross ended up paying the money. It was over 1,600 Bitcoin at the time. Red and White confirms the very next day that the problem has been taken care of, and he sends Ross a picture as proof. But because Ross doesn't actually know what Friendly Chemist looks like, Red and White could have just sent a picture of any random dead guy that you can find on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not hard to come by that. And I might actually make a video at some point about this whole hitman scam because, like I said, it's something that a lot of people have a misunderstanding about with the Dread Pirate Roberts case. He didn't get life in prison for killing anyone, and certainly not for even attempting to take it out on someone. And because Ross ended up paying 1,670 Bitcoins for that hit way back when, it probably ended up being one of the most lucrative scams in history since that payment is worth almost $200 million.
Yeah, I don't even know how he got involved in that shit.
Enough for Ross Ulbricht. I'm glad that he's free, and I'm glad he's going to get to see the wonderful dark web world that he pioneered. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it to hack the algorithm.
Yeah, I don't know why he felt so obligated to try and help these people who he had no idea about.
And you can get accessories for your phone or laptop.
All of it is very strange, right?
Checkout. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. I cannot imagine sitting in a cell, probably accepted life imprisonment long ago, and getting a presidential pardon. It must be a wild feeling that next to nobody experiences, yeah. Now he needs to pardon whistleblowers like Snowden. I don't think he's gonna get like Snowden, to be honest. Because Snowden really fucked with shit. Right. Even Trump and Biden hated Snowden for what he did. Because he really fucking blew the handle on like all the fucked up shit the government was doing. I don't think they'll be able to do that for Snowden. Also, I think a lot of people want him dead over here in the United States. Literally, some people in the government want him dead. So I don't think he's going to be coming back anytime soon. Julian Assange, probably not, since he exposed so much about Israel. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's out now. What about Snowden? Ross got finessed for 6 figs by an improv team and a live leak. A double free Snowden. A double life sentence, 40+ years for a non-violent drug-related crime was probably the most politically motivated sentencing I've seen. So happy Ross was free. I was 100% for his release, but wasn't aware of the whole hitman story. I mean, paying for a killing of a man who has wife and children was what he assumed he was doing, at least. Pretty fucked up. Yeah, I don't know what was going through his mind when he did that. Very strange. They over-sentence, then come back and play hero against a villain, which is themselves also a shake my head. Millions must cheer. This has to be some kind of record. Speedrunning life sentences plus 40 years and 10. This is an insane win. I never thought that Ross should be pardoned. I understand that no charges were ever brought for the Hitman scheme, but you have to remember this is a man who fully under the impression that he had paid for a murder of 2 individuals. That's true. Even though it wasn't involved in the charges, that's why I thought the life sentences were fitting. Because again, he was completely convinced that he had 2 people murdered in cold blood. I see no reason why he should have been let out. Well, it's more so to the fact that he also created a website where he could where he allowed people to fucking peddle drugs to each other. Well, hey, if someone is blackmailing you and threatening to take your website and your freedom away from you for the rest of your life, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, that too. Why was he never charged if there's proof? I mean, there's evidence probably, but it's not substantial enough to keep going on it. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Hopefully, it doesn't return to running a illicit marketplace. Well, we'll find out. But yeah. All right, Mental Outlaw. Mental Outlaw does a lot of like online cybersecurity and uh programming news and anything that deals with tech, really.